So welcome back to DecoyNoise and another episode of Am I the Antagonist? And am I the antagonist for gate crashing my ex's wedding and causing the marriage to be annulled? So in all the craziness going on in the world right now, I want to make sure that you're taking at least 2 breaks a day by subscribing to DecoyNoise and turning the notifications on. I can remind you every 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time to just chill out, relax, and watch me judge some other people online. So let's just go ahead and get to the story right now. So OP writes, I recently posted this on Today I Messed Up, and they made me wonder if I'm the antagonist. My ex's wedding was in February, and like you could guess, I wasn't personally invited, nor was I told anything about it from him, even though we spoke daily. Well, I found out about it from his grandmother, we're close, and she suggested that I gate crash and that she would cover for me. I don't think that she likes the bride. I was interested in going because I wanted to find some closure since we had broken up rather quickly a few months before, and I still wasn't over him, so I said yes. The day came in, and his grandmother snuck me in and we watched the ceremony. It was beautiful. I shed a few tears, but it really solidified things. I was ready to leave afterwards, but his grandmother pushed me to go to the reception as well and sit next to her at the family table. Pretty awkward, but I went. I was still mingling with the family, standing up, when the bride and groom came. They came up and greeted me, and she congratulated me on the pregnancy. I thanked her and said something about how I couldn't wait to co-parent with the two of them. Turns out she didn't know that I was pregnant, 5 months at the time, with his child the entire time. She lost her crap and ran out. He tried to run after her, but then her dad came and started a scene. Lucky for me, my ex's brother came and helped me get out of the situation as soon as possible. My ex still asks for updates, but I recently heard from his grandmother they broke up and got an annulment. The bride weirdly still follows and comments and likes my pictures, so I think she's fine with me, but still, am I the antagonist? And they edited saying, we dated for 3 years before we got into this relationship with her, and then rekindled things during their break, which they had both had partners. Okay, so in typical DecoyNoise fashion, we're going to take this to Decoy Court, where I'm going to give you my knee-jerk reaction. We'll read some of those top comments, some of those more fun, controversial comments. I'll read your comments down below, and then we'll kind of do some decoy deliberation down there and figure out a fun, theoretical punishment for said antagonist. So let's go ahead and just get into this one right now, where it's... I never understood the idea that you had to pry your way into somebody, or no, wedge your way into somebody else's relationship, where she's saying that OP wasn't invited to the guy's wedding, so just take a hint. And the grandmother invited her to come over to the wedding, but it's, why are you willing to be a pawn in the grandmother's game? Like, this isn't Game of Thrones. Like, just go do something more productive. Like, you're pregnant, go do something that's gonna help you later on in life, not taking steps back. And I'm a big fan of the idea of you're not over him. Spending more time with your ex-boyfriend, even though you have a baby on the way from him, isn't going to help you get over him. Like, they say, oh, I just want a closure. No, it's not closure. You just want to kind of put your foot in the water and say, like, hey, can we get back together? You know, like, I never understood the whole idea, like, when I have friends where they say, okay, look, like, me and the boyfriend broke up, I don't want to be his friends with benefits anymore, so I'm just going to hit him up one last time so we can kind of figure out, you know, I just need closure. It's like, no, you want to see if you can get him back. That's my opinion. Go ahead and prove me wrong in the comment section, but I honestly never thought that, like, the whole closure thing was an actual real thing. Now, what I'm seeing with this right here is I'm coming from the angle that OP didn't want closure. She wanted to try to see if, like, you know, there was anything still left there maybe she could salvage because she's having the kid with the OP, and that's why she brought it up. Is the idea is OP got exactly what she wanted. Like, you got left, he dumped you for this other girl, you still went over him, now he's getting married, so you're thinking, okay, well, maybe if I kind of mention that I'm having the baby with him, which you did, and then all of a sudden now they're broken up, and now you and the ex-boyfriend are still talking right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and say right now, with Decoy Court, everyone sucks here. You suck because you played the grandma's game to, like, drive a wedge between you and your ex-boyfriend and his new wife, or ex-wife now. The ex-boyfriend's the antagonist because he was getting married to somebody, not disclosing the fact that he's having a baby with OP. Like, that is ridiculous. And also, I want to say a little bit on his ex-wife now, because she's still keeping tabs on you and figuring things out, like liking your photos. And, well, liking them would be one thing, but commenting on them, that's a little bit bizarre. Maybe they're just trying to get, like, affirmation. They're like, okay, look, that baby is my ex-husband's baby now. Let me know in the comments, if you get married to somebody and it's annulled, do you still have an ex-husband, or is it just annulled, just negates it? I'm not exactly sure. I guess I kind of answered my own question in the comment right now saying it was annulled, so it doesn't count all the way. But I mean, let me know in the comment section. Go ahead and take a brief break, pause the video, earn yourself that decoy koi coin by either being just a loyal follower, always giving me feedback, or make me laugh, make me cry, make me just feel something during the furlough right now. But like I say, I'm open to being wrong. That's why we're gonna go over some top comments and those more fun controversial comments. So let's go ahead and get into that right now. So they say, everyone sucks here except the bride. You for crashing the wedding, the grandmother for convincing you to crash the wedding, and him for keeping a child secret from his bride. I'm glad she got out of the marriage because you all sound dramatic and hard to be around. Which is very true. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, the grandma is probably the biggest antagonist here because, oh no, the husband... her ex-boyfriend, aka the husband, and the grandma are probably the worst antagonists over here. They say not the bride, but I think the bride is a little bit because I just don't think that you should be keeping tabs on your your ex-husband's or annulled husband's ex-girlfriend's baby daddy. I don't know. That's a whole thing, but yeah, even reading that off, thinking about that right now, I know that yes, you guys all seem like you're just a hassle to be around. So good on her for getting out of the situation. And then yeah, everybody kind of sucks there. So let's go ahead and the next reply was, I have a sneaking suspicion that grandma planned for all of this to happen. Clearly, the briefly wife didn't know about the baby and she definitely deserved to know. I'm wondering if grandma coaxed OP into attending specifically to let the bride know. And that was probably true, like where maybe grandma asked her grandson like, hey, so how is your new wife okay with you having a baby with OP and still getting married to her? Oh, I haven't told her yet. I don't even know. So it's just the idea that it's like, yeah, that probably was a big aspect of it. And also, it was probably a part of OP's maniacal plan to get back with the boyfriend because she was upset that he chose her over him, even though, like, you know, she got knocked up. Most people in their mind think once we're having a baby together, they have to choose me now, right? And then just the idea that it's like, oh yeah, you're having his baby, but he still chose somebody else. Like, that's gotta be a major blow to the ego. But let's go ahead and read another reply right now. Someone says, definitely sounds like someone like grandma orchestrated the whole thing. So I imagine this thread's just gonna go down that path right now. So the next post is, everyone sucks here. You're the antagonist for gate crashing a wedding you weren't invited to. That's never cool. Grandmother is the antagonist for sneaking you in. Your ex is the antagonist for not telling her bride that you were expecting his baby. The only innocent person here is the bride, to be honest. And honestly, maybe I should walk that back where everybody's kind of saying the only innocent person is the bride. Maybe she needs a closure. Maybe she needs that. But as you can tell as my previous comments, I'm not a big fan of that whole idea of like, oh, let's get some closure on the situation. Like, what's done is done. You've paid the iron price. I don't know how that relates, but that sounds right now. So the next reply is, I don't know what the F the guy was thinking. Getting married after a few months while his ex is pregnant with his baby, which his family obviously knows about. How on earth did he think that he could keep up that lie? Also, between posts like this and watching programs such as 90 Days to Wed, Americans seem crazy sold on the idea of marriage, preferably even early 20s. Why get married unless you already have kids together? Here it's very normal for couples to be together for decades without getting married, even with kids in the picture. And I want to say, based on just my personal experience, because obviously I'm older, I'm not married, but I have lots of friends and family that got married at a very young age. I really think it's just a part of that the growing up scenario. Like, you're supposed to, you graduate high school, then you go to college. That's just what you should be doing. And then once you graduate college, you should start a family. But first, before you start a family, it's just traditional that you get married. So there's a lot of pressure, especially in like a lot of my Asian friends, where they say like, you know, once you hit that 30, you have to be married before that. So they all kind of have this bizarre, like, okay, late 20s, we need to start really getting serious about dating and, like, you know, figuring it out. And it's like not necessarily a thing where it's what they want, it's just, it's expected of them, so they feel pressure to do it. And it's just like, I want to say it's a very bizarre occurrence, but you know what, it's not bizarre. I think that my situation is way more bizarre than them doing what is the cultural norm. So I mean, go ahead and correct me in the comment section below, but honestly, I think that they think it's, you know, not necessarily the right thing for you to want to get married and, you know, married before you have children, but it's just, you know, different cultural norms. So a reply to that was, it's possible he was cheating and the grandmother knew, and he didn't get married after a few months. I've heard a surprising amount of people, especially older people, be okay with guys cheating because that's what men do. They kind of typed it weird. And that's the thing, is social norms are just different, and like, you know, people surprisingly think that cheating's more permissible now because it's just more commonplace. It's kind of a tragedy, really. So the next reply is, everyone sucks here. Grandma is a troublemaker. He should have told his fiance, and you knew damn well what you were doing. And that's what I think. OP knew damn well what she was doing. Grandma is maybe the protagonist we need. She needs the hero that, like, you know, that the potential wife needed. And then, you know, fiance is pretty terrible. Like, who gets married? Who proposes to somebody while somebody else is pregnant with their child? I'll never know. But let's go ahead and read the next reply. Everyone sucks here, and grandma's evil in a good way. Yeah, what is it? That alignment chart where there's like lawful good, chaotic good, evil, whatever. She's on that that chaotic good side, if that's even a portion of that square. I haven't seen it too much, but I mean, all I know is like they put it on, what is it, like Star Wars characters or something. So one last top comment is, everyone sucks here except for the bride. You're the antagonist for sneaking into a wedding when you weren't invited, and you clearly had intention to cause some sort of trouble. Grandma's the antagonist for encouraging you and sneaking you in. Regardless how she feels about the bride, she had absolutely no right to do that. Groom's dad is the antagonist for causing a scene. X/Groom is the antagonist for not being upfront when the bride... upfront with the bride about his unborn child. Wow, that poor bride, how devastating for her. Which is very, very sad, very devastating. Her happiest moment was like the biggest revelation of like, oh, her marriage would be a lie no matter what, so she has to get out here. The only thing I don't agree with in this situation is saying the groom's dad is the antagonist for causing a scene. I don't think it was the groom's dad. I think it was the bride's dad that was like, hey, don't go after her. Or maybe it was the groom's dad, and it was actually probably the better thing where it's like, hey, keep them separated. Like, it's not, you know, if two people are fighting and I run up there and I'm stopping the fight, but I'm causing a bigger scene by, like, you know, throwing somebody into a table and say, hey, and yelling, saying stop, I'm not causing the scene. It's just they're causing the scene. I'm just extinguishing it. And sadly, in a fight, oftentimes stopping the fight is a bigger deal than the two people involved in the fight. So yeah, I agree with everything except for the idea that, you know, yeah, I guess I could kind of retract my earlier statement. Decoy court is kangaroo court in this sense, because the bride really isn't the antagonist for wanting to keep tabs on OP, especially when she ruined her special day. But I want to still stand firm with my idea that the groom's dad or the bride's dad that came in there to stop the fight, that kind of kept them separated, that's probably the least of their worries right now. But I mean, go ahead and let me know down below what you guys are thinking, if I can get the button to work to get me to the controversial section, because top posts give us perspective, controversial posts give us entertainment. So let's go ahead and look at this top controversial post to kind of see what's going on, because people are getting downvoted. So let's see. Someone says, not the antagonist. I'm glad you show up. The wife to have been would have found out about you within a half a year anyway. If you hadn't shown up, she would have been in the marriage she wouldn't have agreed to be in the first place. The grandma was looking out for you and the quote-unquote wife. And the thing is, though, is that's saying she's not the antagonist if she's like the lost child in the woods, like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm just here to shed a tear and wish my ex-boyfriend that I still have feelings for and I'm carrying his baby. Well, I don't have any ulterior motives. No, she had an ulterior motive. She knew exactly what she was doing. You gotta give her more credit than that. She's the grandma, yes, may or may not have orchestrated it, but she enabled the situation for OP to kind of, this was her plan too. They were both plotting together. You know damn well. So let's go ahead and read the next controversial reply. Not the antagonist. You seems to have innocent intentions and obviously didn't intend to cause trouble. It may have been a bit awkward for you to show up without the invite, but it appears that no one called you out for being there, so you weren't unwelcome. I think the groom is the antagonist for not mentioning it, but it was also not nice of the grandmother to sneak you in without checking/telling anyone. The fact that the bride seems to be okay with you leads me to believe that you didn't step too far out of line. Too long didn't read. It was a bit weird to show up, but you didn't have any malicious intentions, so not the antagonist. And that's why, you know, we just... If you think OP was so short-sighted and wouldn't think that, hey, look, the groom's secret baby mama is not welcome at the wedding, then yeah, you're not the antagonist. But she's an adult. She knows what she's doing. So I'm saying she is the antagonist, but I guess in the off chance that OP didn't realize that if she swapped situations with her where she was marrying a man and all of a sudden his secret mistress baby mama showed up, you'd be totally okay with it. Like, come on now, like, this is ridiculous. But let's go ahead and read on. Next top controversial post was, unpopular here, I know, but not the antagonist. You're close to the family because you're carrying the child. You were invited, secondhand albeit, but hey, you would have gotten to know them pretty well in the next 18 years. Don't know how he kept it a secret or why he thought it was a good idea. If it was his kid, you shouldn't have hidden it. And that's the idea, is you don't know why he thought he was going to keep it a secret. Maybe he thought that once they got married and once they've been together for a while, and maybe was she 5 months pregnant, so we're going to say like 4 months later on when the baby's finally born, the idea that maybe he thought that they just kind of like, you know, grandfather this kid in, like, hey, you know what, it's spilled milk at this point in time, we've been married, everything's been good, so might as well just raise this co-parent this child with me. Or maybe he was always intending to sign away his rights. Who knows what he was actually doing, but it was definitely, hey, let's get married, I'm gonna mislead you through this marriage, and then we're gonna figure it out as we go along. Terrible on both accounts. But let's go ahead and read the next controversial comment, because it's also getting lots of downvotes. So Poster writes, I'm going to say not the antagonist, for one reason. While yes, you effed up their wedding, you saved her. Imagine if they went through it and had something started up, and then she found out months later. I mean, you still suck a lot, but you also kind of saved the poor woman. Which, I get that, but you can't say you're not the antagonist because you saved the person, because everybody sucks here. Like, not just... You can't say that OP's not the antagonist because she didn't play a role in it. It's like, nah, she was a pawn in the game, but she still willingly accepts her role. So let's go ahead and read the next controversial reply. So not the antagonist, you saved that girl so much time, and then they had us in the first half, not gonna lie. That's like the allusion to that meme where the guy was losing the first half of his football game and then came back and won the game. So I mean, I guess whatever. So let's go ahead and read one last top controversial comment, which is, Reddit has different rules in real life, LMAO. OP obviously didn't mean to start anything, and the groom and bride were clearly receptive to her presence since they welcomed her and congratulated her on a pregnancy in the first place. It would have been different if they asked her to leave and caused a scene. OP shouldn't have gone without the invite, but the groom is clearly the antagonist in the situation. Also, what the heck was the grandma doing? We know exactly what the grandma was doing. Didn't approve of the girl, didn't approve of her grandson getting married to one woman while simultaneously having a kid with somebody else, and also the idea that, oh, they didn't cause a scene. Like, at your wedding, if someone crashes your wedding, do you really want to, like, you know, I think the wife was probably, or the bride was probably just trying to be, you know, proper in the situation. Like, I'm not gonna let this girl's presence in my wedding. I didn't want her here. Nobody invited her. I specifically told the groom not to invite her, but you know what? She's here. Oh, congratulations. Thank you. That's just what you do at weddings. You don't like pick fights with everybody at each individual table. It's not one of those, what do you call it, like a WWF scene where you're just gonna like call people out. No, you're gonna say, congratulations on the wedding, or congratulations on the baby, thank you so much for showing up here, even though you don't like them. You just don't let it ruin stuff. And then obviously OP couldn't just let it be there. Hey, she's gonna be nice and proper with me, might as well just like make her flip her crap, so let me just call her out for her crap. I mean, sounds terrible all around, but I mean, maybe there's something I'm not seeing to this. That's why you can earn yourself that Decoy Koi coin by giving me a good comment in the comment section down below. I don't even care if you guys are dropping me hate comments, because I mean, whatever. This is the internet. That's gonna happen. But if anything, I just want to say thank you for dropping by, spending your furlough with me, and just kind of, you know, letting me shoot the crap with you while we judge strangers online. If you haven't already, please subscribe down below, with also turning those notifications on so you can take 2 breaks a day with me. If you haven't, go to DecoyNoise.com, submit your story, or just kind of give me feedback about the channel. But if nothing else, put this on autoplay and wait for the next Decoy Noise to come up next.